So, night one of New Year's Smash was AEW Dynamite, even though it's the last Dynamite of 2021 and it's not the new year yet, but don't think about that. So, not only was this the last Dynamite of 2021, this was also the last Dynamite on TNT before the move to TBS. And I also got to mention Jim Ross beating skin cancer and returning to commentary, so hats off to him. But tonight's event kicked off with the AEW World Tag Team Champions, the Lucha Brothers and Jurassic Express, facing off against the AAA Tag Team Champions FTR and Private Party. And in the end, there was a bit of a miscommunication between Christian Cage and Penta El Zero Miedo, and FTR would capitalize on it by hitting Christian with the big rig and pinned him to get their team the win. And then 2.0 and Daniel Garcia took on Eddie Kingston and LAX. And in the end, Santana would try to hit a moonsault off of Ortiz's back, but Matt Lee countered by getting his knees up. And then Lee would grab Santana's tights and rolled him up for the win. And they would continue the assault after the match when Garcia took the ring bell and slammed it against Santana's head. And then Chris Jericho would come down to the ring because he had his problems with Daniel Garcia and 2.0 interrupting him as well over the past few weeks. And he got 2.0 and Daniel Garcia to retreat. And then Kingston got in Jericho's face and said that he didn't need Jericho's help. And Jericho's inner circle member Ortiz tried to defuse the situation. And then MJF was backstage with Wardlow and Shawn Spears, and he actually brought up the botch that happened last week when Sting threw him out of the ring and he crash landed onto his head. And he basically said that him and Wardlow were going to be getting some more W's, even though Wardlow has been doing nothing but getting W's quite convincingly for a while now. But I'm interested to see if MJF is going to become a champion in 2022, because I think he's probably the best heel champion the company could have, and he's definitely good enough to be champion, so we'll see what happens. And then Tony Schiavone was backstage with the Lucha Brothers, and Christian Cage interrupted the interview and got in their face, and Christian came through on his promise to, I can't remember, either help or get Jurassic Express a match with the champions, because he laid down a challenge for a tag team title match, which the Lucha Brothers accepted. And then Wardlow faced off against Colin Delaney, and the same thing that happens to all of Wardlow's opponents happened to Delaney when he got powerbombed over and over and Wardlow just pinned him. And of course, after the match, Spears once again used a steel chair and whacked Delaney with it. And then the Young Bucks, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bobby Fish were backstage. And I gotta say, that's a pretty star-studded team right there with the combination of the Super Click and the Undisputed Era. And if you look on the Undisputed Era's Wikipedia page, it apparently says that they're a subgroup of the Elite now, kind of like how the Super Click are. And even if it probably won't last, because I can't imagine Adam Cole is going to stay with the Elite after reforming the Undisputed Era, it's still pretty cool to see. I don't know, that doesn't really have anything to do with anything, I just wanted to say that. And O'Reilly tried to get the Bucks to leave, but the Bucks refused, and Adam Cole told them to go, much in the same way that the Bucks told Adam Cole to go when Adam Page came up to them before his AEW World Championship match against Kenny Omega at Full Gear. So it was actually really cool to see the parallels there. That is how you do some full circle storytelling. But once Cole told them to go, the Bucks left, and O'Reilly also asked Bobby Fish to leave as well because he wanted a moment alone with Adam. And one thing I really liked was that they didn't just start with a clean slate like I thought they would. They actually acknowledged the breakup of the Undisputed Era earlier in the year down at NXT, and they actually brought it over to AEW, which is just freaking insane. I love how NXT is now basically the unofficial developmental center for AEW. It's so funny. But yeah, they kept the hostility between Cole and O'Reilly going when O'Reilly said that they would see if Cole really had his back tonight during their trios match. And then Dan Lambert was in the ring with the Men of the Year, and Lambert basically put Cody Rhodes, Brandy Rhodes, and Arn Anderson on blast, saying that he cut a deal with Tony Khan to be able to skip the line of more deserving talent. And I can't even really say that that's wrong, because it does seem a little weird that as an executive, he does get championship matches for almost no reason. But Brandy Rhodes would interrupt Dan Lambert, and I don't know what it is about Brandy, but something about her cutting a promo just seems off. Like, I don't know if she's trying too hard or if she's just not that confident at cutting promos, but all her promos just come off as being really awkward and weird. But in the end, Brandy would try to engage physically with Dan Lambert, and Dustin Rhodes tried to come out to stop her, but then Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky attacked Dustin and left him laying as they walked off. And then we had a TBS Women's Title Tournament semifinal match between Jade Cargill and Thunder Rosa. And the winner of this match faces Ruby Soho in the finals next week on the first Dynamite on TBS to crown the inaugural TBS Women's Champion. And again, I've been saying Jade Cargill was going to make it to the finals with Ruby, so obviously she beat Thunder Rosa, but even I couldn't have expected the way it would happen, because as Mark Sterling distracted the referee, a masked individual attacked Thunder Rosa, and Cargill would capitalize on the attack by planting Thunder Rosa with her jaded finisher and pinned her to advance to the finals. And Thunder Rosa tried to attack Jade Cargill after the match, but then the hooded figure came into the ring and helped Jade Cargill beat down Rosa, and it turned out that the hooded figure was Mercedes Martinez, who was also released from WWE in a round of releases that included guys like Bobby Fish. So once again, WWE is just supplying AEW with more talent that they wasted by putting them on stupid teams. But Martinez and Cargill would double team Rosa until Ruby Soho came out to even the odds and chase them off with a steel pipe. And then CM Punk came out to cut a promo, and Punk brought up Jim Ross beating cancer and expressed his gratitude at seeing him back at work. And he also talked about Brody Lee's tribute show being held here, and then he transitioned to talking about MJF. And he referenced what MJF said earlier about trying to become a champion, and Punk said that he wanted to be a champion in AEW too, and he said that he would be interfering in MJF's quest for gold. And there was also this one bit that I also really liked where he made a callback to his 2011 Pipe Bomb promo. And then Will Hobbs and Ricky Starks were backstage, and they teased a potential second match between Dante Martin and Will Hobbs. And then Sammy Guevara came out with a bunch of posters, and as it went to a commercial break, he did the thing where he showed each poster and the audience is supposed to read what it's saying, and this time it said that he was going to win back his TNT title by beating the new champion Cody Rhodes. And then Tony Schiavone interviewed Brian Pillman Jr. in the ring, and Brian Pillman said that next week he was going to have a match against Malachi Black to avenge his Varsity Blondes teammate Griff Garrison after what Black did to him last week. And then the arena lights went off and Malachi Black stared down Pillman, and when they came back on, Black was gone. And then in the main event, Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends took on the reunited Undisputed Era, Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, and the debuting Kyle O'Reilly. And this was just so awesome to see. It was so cool to see Red Dragon come out to their theme song again, and then we had Adam Cole's banger of a theme right after it. And when they all posed together, it was just like old times when they used to do it in the Undisputed Era, minus the guy who would be on his knees in front of all of them completing the set. But towards the end, Kyle O'Reilly would hit his axe and smash combo on Orange Cassidy, and as he was charging at Cassidy, who was still stunned from the axe and smash, he accidentally took out Cole. And then Brandon Cutler came down to try to swing the momentum back in the Elite's favor, but the Best Friends took him out, but it was merely a distraction for the Young Bucks, who came down to the ring and super kicked the Best Friends. And then Red Dragon would capitalize on this distraction by hitting Chuck Taylor with their Chasing the Dragon finisher, which was so good to see again, and they pinned Chuck Taylor for the win. And this time, to close out the show, Adam Cole left with the Young Bucks instead of Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. So at this point, it's like the Young Bucks and Red Dragon are fighting for their leader, Adam Cole. And I saw so many people saying that we were going to have a custody arrangement match where Red Dragon and the Young Bucks would fight to see who would get custody of Adam Cole. And I was seeing a bunch of hilarious ideas like a Cole on a pole match. But yeah, this is shaping up to be such an interesting interesting story, with Cole being pulled between two of his best factions. And at the end of the day, like I said, I think he will go with the Undisputed Era just because the Elite already have guys like Kenny Omega to lead the group. So in the end, I think it will be Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly of the Undisputed Era facing off against Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks of the Elite, which should be so freaking good. Anyways, that was the last Dynamite on TNT, and next Wednesday, the TBS era begins, and we also have night 2 of the New Year's Smash event with AEW Rampage on New Year's Eve, so that should be an interesting show. So overall, a pretty good end with Red Dragon getting the win as they needed to because Kyle O'Reilly was debuting, and we also got a good continuation to the storyline between Adam Cole, the Young Bucks, and Red Dragon, and we'll see what happens on Rampage.